Alright, this is a 1953 half-ton. It's a B-4-B-108. So it's got the short little box on it. And the interesting details on this one are that two-tone paint job that you can still kind of see there around the door in particular identifies this as what's known as a spring special. And in the famous Don Bunn book, Restoration of the B Series Trucks, he has a little write-up on these guys. And so nobody knows how many were made, but typically trucks in the 50s were purchased by farmers. So they had quite a few sales in the fall of the year. And then throughout the year they'd have some commercial vehicle sales, like that big guy next to it and stuff. So by the spring of the year, they didn't have many sales. So they had this promotional thing where they'd paint up these special trucks with this two-tone paint job, put a few extra options on them, and sell them to city people, I guess. I don't know. Somebody likes trucks. But this guy is all there. I've had it running and driving, stopping, backing up. But he's got some teeth missing out of the flywheel. And no matter how careful you are, or how many times you do it, when an engine comes to rest, they'll typically come to rest at the same relative location. So the starter motor next to the crank flywheel, it'll engage them first several teeth the most often. So there's a few teeth missing on this, but I just happen to know where there's an extra fluid drive flywheel myself. So anyhow, this one come from Colorado, over on the Front Range by Loveland. And here on the grill piece, you can see that darker green color. You see it's got the chrome or stainless around the parking lights, but the center piece that says job rated there is still painted steel because they're still in the Korean War. And this one has the 1953 style Dodge emblem across the front of the nose there. You see the wide spacing and the little lines between it. That identifies this as a 54, plus the balloon style rear fenders. I'm trying to walk around here. Those Dodge emblems, there's another little emblem that goes underneath there, and that emblem said Truck-O-Matic. And that's another interesting feature on these trucks, because they had a fluid coupling between the engine and the clutch, and it was full of hydraulic oil. And so the engine would start and run with the clutch engaged or disengaged, it didn't matter, and it would sit there. If it was in gear, it would just sit there and idle until you had enough RPM on the engine that it would spin the fluid in the fluid coupling, and then it would spin the clutch. So this is an early version of a torque converter that became standard in automatic transmissions. So there's a good view of that darker green color there on the door still left. Now, if it were me, I wouldn't repaint this truck, because if you do, the only way you can tell spring special is by the paint. There's nothing on the serial number or anything to indicate that it's a fluid coupling truck. Other than looking at it underneath, it's got a spacer in there. Usually 3-speed on the column. Well, you can pull up to a stop sign without taking it out of gear, just by using the brake and the throttle. You get low enough RPM, it won't turn it. So it just sit there and idle. Now it'll start off in any gear. High gear, it starts off really slow, but in first gear, and then you don't need the clutch to shift if you don't want to. It might make it a little easier. There's that classic semicircle thing there, where the two paints come together on the back of the door, back of the cab. Now I looked around, see how many of these there were, and like I said, you don't know how many total. But I looked to see how many are left, and I found a few. I found one in California that's been all redone, new paint and everything. But I said, well, that's okay, because they had photos from when the guy's grandpa had it new or something like that. So they could document that it was a true spring special. There's another guy in Texas. He has one. There's 2 of them that I know that a guy in Kansas has. And there's this one. And I thought I had them all spotted. And one day, a guy contacts me, saw a photo of one of these guys, and said, oh, I'm up in Nebraska. I got 4 of them. And there's another one in Georgia. So what I thought were very few ended up to be about a dozen, which still isn't a lot of them. I mean, you got good straight box, fender's decent, tailgate, you know, good box and tailgate there. They're $500 minimum. But then you get over here to the right hand side, and you can see the quality of driving on this side is not as good as the quality of driving on the left side, because this poor right fender here, it's been hit on once or twice. Again, like I said before in another video, this same fender was manufactured from 1953 to 1985. So it's possible to get a replacement on there, and you'll never know what year it was made. We'll walk up this side, take a look at the doors and stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, opens up. Now he's got a spare wheel sitting in there, because I've got the 5 original light green colored wheels that go with this truck. That plastic Dodge emblem on the dash there is unique to 53. And just about all of them have a little break in them. They didn't survive real well. Interestingly, this guy didn't come with the corner windows. I don't know why. Maybe if they'd had that corner window, they wouldn't have beat up that fender. And this is the old Dodge that goes at the top, and then down here it said Truck-O-Matic. Starting to show a little rust on the rivets. Probably rust at the back of the cab. He's all there. Well, the front bumper's not there. The dummy that had it last hooked up a tractor or something to the front bumper and tore it right off. But I built one for it. I built the front bumper out of steel and put the eye holes in there, and so I could put a tow bar on it and tow it around. They're nice little trucks. $19.53 spring special. 970-986-1020. Thank you.